You guys aren't real cop science. Oh, Julia. What a world, Jake. From these ages of chaos. Lord, you.
Afterburn is one of those movies that comes across as both daring in concept and massive in execution. A film that blends post-apocalyptic science fiction with high-octane adventure in a way that feels larger than life. At its core, it takes the audience on a journey into a ruined Earth where survival is only the beginning, and where courage, ambition, and the hunger to reclaim lost dreams push the boundaries of every character. The movie takes place in a not-so-distant future where the Earth has been devastated by solar flares, leaving behind a wasteland of broken cities and forgotten treasures. The central hook of the story revolves around a team of reckless adventurers who make a living scavenging through the ruins, but their latest mission puts them on a collision course with forces far greater than themselves. The tone is gritty but adventurous, filled with tense action, clever humor, and moments of heart that remind us of what it means to fight for something worth living for. The casting of Afterburn plays a major role in giving the movie its energy. The lead role is played by Dave Bautista, who steps into the character of Jake, a rugged and determined ex-soldier turned scavenger. Bautista brings both physicality and a surprising depth of emotion to the part, portraying Jake not just as a warrior, but as a man wrestling with guilt, loyalty, and the need to protect those he cares about. Opposite him is Vanessa Kirby, who plays Drea, a sharp and resourceful tech expert with a past full of secrets. Kirby provides the perfect counterbalance to Bautista's raw power, offering wit, intelligence, and emotional weight that anchors the team. Orlando Bloom joins the cast as a smooth-talking rogue named Kellen, who is as unpredictable as he is charming, constantly shifting between being an ally and a possible betrayer. Additionally, Jason Statham makes a commanding appearance as a ruthless mercenary captain, the kind of villain who doesn't need to shout to be terrifying. Rounding out the ensemble is Awkwafina, who brings a spark of levity and sarcasm to the group as Nyx, a scavenger who hides her fears behind humor. The blend of action stars and nuanced performers makes the movies dynamic, explosive, and engaging, ensuring that every character brings something unique to the table. The plot of Afterburn is fast-paced and sprawling, yet it is carefully structured to feel both epic and personal. The story begins with Jake leading his small crew into the skeletal remains of a European city that was incinerated decades earlier when solar flares ravaged the planet. What remains is a dangerous landscape filled with collapsing buildings, hidden traps, and rival scavengers desperate for survival. They are hired by a wealthy but enigmatic patron who claims to know the location of priceless cultural treasures still buried beneath the ruins. At first, the mission seems straightforward. Find the artifacts, deliver them, and get paid. But as the journey unfolds, they discover that the true objective is much bigger. The artifacts are part of an ancient energy system that could restore power to the devastated world, making them the most valuable and dangerous prize on Earth. Suddenly, what was once just a scavenger's job turns into a battle for the future of humanity. As Jake and his team push deeper into hostile territory, they encounter enemies who will stop at nothing to claim the artifacts for themselves. Jason Statham's mercenary captain leads a band of brutal fighters armed with advanced tech salvaged from military remnants, creating fierce and unforgettable clashes. The fights are not just about muscle, but also about strategy, with Jake relying on his military experience, Drea hacking into old networks to unlock passageways, and Kellen using his cunning to talk or trick their way out of deadly situations. Alongside the high-speed chases, explosive battles, and daring escapes, the film makes time for quiet moments between characters. Jake opens up about losing his family in the early days of the solar storms, while Drea reveals her conflicted past with the very patron who hired them. These confessions strengthen their bond, but also sow seeds of mistrust that become crucial as the story reaches its climax. The middle act of the movie is dominated by a relentless pursuit. Jake's team barely escapes an ambush in a ruined cathedral, only to find themselves hunted across wastelands by Statham's mercenaries in heavily modified vehicles that feel ripped straight out of a nightmare. The chase sequences are some of the most thrilling in the film, filled with fire, collapsing structures, and near-death stunts. Nix provides comic relief during these scenes, panicking in over-the-top ways but still pulling off miraculous saves when least expected. The tension escalates when the group finally uncovers the hidden vault that houses the artifacts. What they find is not just objects of cultural importance, but fragments of a forgotten technology designed to harness solar energy and stabilize Earth's climate. The realization hits them hard. This mission is no longer just about money. It is about giving humanity a second chance. The final act brings everything to a boiling point. Betrayals surface as Kellen reveals his true allegiance, caught between greed and loyalty, leaving the audience guessing until the very last minute where his heart really lies. Statham's mercenary force launches a brutal full-scale assault on the vault, leading to an explosive showdown underground where the collapsing ruins become just as deadly as the enemy. Jake and Drea fight side by side, their bond solidified through shared sacrifice, while Nix proves her courage by taking on impossible odds. In a climactic duel, Jake faces off against Statham's captain in a brutal hand-to-hand fight that is as much about ideology as it is about strength. The conclusion is both devastating and hopeful, with the artifacts secured but at a heavy cost. Some characters don't make it out alive, reminding the audience that in this shattered world, victory always comes at a price. Yet the final images leave viewers with a spark of hope, as the surviving characters set their sights on rebuilding, carrying the fire of possibility into an uncertain future. The release date of Afterburn has been set to draw audiences right at the start of the blockbuster season, aiming for maximum impact in theaters. It arrives during the summer of 2025, a time slot traditionally reserved for massive spectacle films, signaling the confidence behind its success. The studio has already emphasized its intention to make Afterburn not just a standalone adventure, but potentially the beginning of a larger franchise if audiences connect with its world and characters. With its mix of action, spectacle, emotional depth, and world building, the film is positioned to appeal to fans of big-budget adventure stories while also giving something fresh to audiences tired of formulaic blockbusters. The trailer for Afterburn is designed to grab attention immediately. It opens with stark images of a ruined cityscape, skyscrapers crumbling under endless sunlight, followed by Bautista's Jake narrating a grim reflection on what humanity lost. Quick cuts showcase explosive vehicle chases, tense standoffs, and high-flying stunts, interspersed with quieter moments of characters bonding in the ruins. Vanessa Kirby's Drea is shown hacking into old networks, Aquafina cracking a sarcastic joke in the middle of chaos, and Orlando Bloom flashing his trademark grin as he flips a coin that hints at his double-dealing nature. Jason Statham is introduced in a shot that shows him standing silently among wreckage, his presence alone commanding fear. The trailer builds momentum with a thundering score as massive explosions, collapsing structures, and brutal fights are shown in rapid succession, culminating in a climactic montage of Jake charging headfirst into battle, his voice echoing about the importance of protecting what little humanity has left. The final shot is simple but effective, a close-up of Jake, battered but unbroken, whispering the film's title in a tone that promises more than survival, it promises defiance. Afterburn is not just another action movie. It is a cinematic experience that combines the thrills of explosive set pieces with the emotional depth of characters who feel real, flawed, and driven by both desperation and hope. It is a reminder that even in the darkest ruins of the world, the human spirit finds ways to ignite, to fight, and to rebuild. With a stellar cast, breathtaking visuals, and a story that balances intensity with heart, it promises to be one of the standout blockbusters of its year, a film that audiences will talk about long after the credits roll.